It has been confirmed in the last couple of seconds that Gareth Southgate will step down as England manager.
How did Gareth Southgate, once remembered for a missed penalty, build such a successful career as England's manager? His journey from player to coach has been marked by more than trophies, showing how leadership and vision can redefine a team's future. Gareth Southgate's career as England's manager has often been defined not by what he has won, but by the transformation he has brought to the national team. Despite not lifting any major international trophies, his impact on English football is undeniable. How can someone who missed a key penalty in Euro 96 become a respected football manager in the eyes of the fans and players alike? That's the remarkable story of Gareth Southgate. As a player, Southgate spent his career at clubs like Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, and Middlesbrough. He was known as a solid, dependable defender, earning 57 caps for the England national team. No one can forget his penalty miss in the Euro 1996 semi-final against Germany. Instead of letting it define him negatively, Southgate used that experience to build resilience, shaping his future managerial approach by understanding pressure, failure, and recovery better than most. Fast forward to 2013, Southgate was given the role of England's under-21 manager. This role became a turning point in his managerial career. It wasn't just a job for him, it was a way to develop and nurture young talent. The under-21 team under his leadership became a testing ground for many future stars of the senior team. Southgate knew how to spot and groom talent, helping shape the next generation of England footballers. Players like Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, and Raheem Sterling benefited from this system, and focusing on young talent became a key part of his management style. In 2016, Southgate stepped into the spotlight, following the abrupt resignation of Sam Allardyce after just one game in charge of the senior national team. Southgate was handed the role of caretaker manager. Many doubted Southgate, seeing him as a temporary fix, but he quickly impressed with his calm demeanor and strong tactical sense. Unlike previous chaotic managers, his ability to handle media pressure led to his full-time appointment in November 2016, showing he was more than just a stopgap. What happened next? In 2018, Southgate guided England to the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup in Russia. This was a major milestone because it marked the first time England had reached the World Cup semi-finals since 1990. Although England lost to Croatia in extra time, it was a campaign that revived the national team and reignited the passion of fans. The Southgate effect was in full swing, and England was no longer seen as a team that would underperform on the big stage. Guess what stood out the most during the World Cup run? It wasn't just the victories, but the way Southgate led his team. The new iconic waistcoat he wore on the touchline became a symbol of his new England era. The team played with confidence, unity, and a sense of freedom not seen in years. They weren't just playing not to lose, they were playing to win, and fans felt the difference. It wasn't just tactics, it was the mentality shift that Southgate had instilled. England finally seemed to shed the weight of past failures. In a knockout stage of the 2018 World Cup, Southgate helped everyone overcome England's long-standing challenges. The team won their first World Cup penalty shootout, defeating Colombia in a round of 16. For Southgate, who felt the pain of missing a penalty in 1996, this was a big moment for redemption. England had a victory of struggling with penalties, so seeing Southgate lead the team to victory was a powerful story. It showed his growth as a leader, turning past pains into success. The fans and players felt it too. He had given the team confidence. What tactics did Southgate rely on? During the World Cup, he used a flexible 3-5-2 formation, which allowed England to maintain defensive solidity while attacking with purpose. Players like Kieran Trippier thrived under this system, while Harry Kane won the Golden Boot as the tournament's top scorer. It wasn't just about tactics. One of Southgate's biggest achievements was building a positive team culture. When he took over, the bond between the team and the fans was weak after years of poor performance. Southgate, with his humble attitude and emotional intelligence, worked to fix that. He was open, honest, and relatable, which won over both fans and players. In press conferences, he was thoughtful and took responsibility when things didn't go well, and he wasn't afraid to take responsibility when things didn't go as planned. Under Southgate's leadership, one of the biggest changes was the positive team culture he built. He created a supportive environment where players felt confident to express themselves. Younger players especially benefited, as Southgate wasn't afraid to give new talents a chance, something previous managers were often hesitant to do. The inclusion of players like Bukayo Saka and Mason Mount into the national team was a reflection of his trust in youth. Southgate's focus on the long-term development over short-term gains became another key part of the strategy. Although he hadn't won a major international tournament, he was building a foundation for future success. One defining moment of Southgate's tenure was the Euro 2020 final, England's first major final since 1966. Though they lost to Italy on penalties, reaching that stage was a huge achievement. After Luke Shaw's early goal, England seemed close to ending their 55-year trophy drought, but Italy equalized. Despite the loss, Southgate showed strong leadership, taking responsibility for the penalty takers and protecting his players from criticism. His empathy and reliance were clear once again. Guess what happened after the Euro 2020 final? Southgate's handling of the loss was just as impressive as his management throughout the tournament. England had come so close to glory, only to fall short in the most heartbreaking way. But Southgate didn't shy away from responsibility. He accepted the criticism that came his way and stood by his players, particularly the young stars who had missed their penalties. The racial abuse aimed at players like Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Bukayo Saka was met with firm opposition from Southgate, who defended his squad and condemned the abuse. His leadership during that period earned him even more respect from fans and the wider football community. Some critics have labeled Southgate as too cautious, particularly in big games. But is that really the case? Southgate's tactical approach is often more flexible than people give him credit for. While he does prioritize defensive stability, he has shown a willingness to switch tactics when needed. For instance, during the UEFA Nations League, he allowed more creative players like Jack Grealish to have greater freedom in attacking roles, showcasing a more expansive style of play. Southgate's tactical flexibility is an underrated aspect of his management, as he adapts based on the opposition and the stakes. Southgate's experience as a defender has clearly shaped his style as a manager. He focuses a lot on discipline and a strong defense, which has been key to England's success in recent tournaments. Under his leadership, England has let in very few goals, showing how effective his defensive strategy is. But Southgate's experience goes beyond tactics. It's about managing pressure. Having experienced the highs and lows of international football as a player, Southgate knows how to prepare his team mentally and emotionally for big occasions. One of the misconceptions about Southgate is that he's too conservative when it comes to player selection. Critics have pointed his loyalty to players like Jordan Henderson and Harry Maguire, even when their club form hasn't been consistent. But the truth is, Southgate has been one of the most forward-thinking England managers in terms of promoting young talent. He has shown a willingness to integrate young players into his squad, giving them chances to shine in the biggest stage. His trust in players like Jadon Sancho, Phil Foden, and Jude Bellingham has paid off, with these youngsters playing key roles in the team's recent successes. Southgate's win percentage as England manager is around 60%, which is respectable for an international manager. His record includes memorable victories over teams like Germany, Croatia, and Spain, as well as deep runs in both 2018 World Cup and Euro 2020. While critics might focus on the lack of trophies, the consistency in which Southgate has guided England to the latter stages of major tournaments is an achievement in itself. England has become a team that can compete with the best on a regular basis, and that's down to Southgate's leadership. He has balanced bringing in young talents with experienced players like Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling, which keeps England strong and promising for the future. During Euro 2020, when players took a knee in support of racial equality, Southgate stood by them despite criticism. His unwavering support for his players, both in football and in life, has created a bond of trust and respect within the team. Despite his accomplishments, some critics still focus on Southgate's lack of a major trophy. But is that the only measure of success? Southgate has brought stability and progress to a team that struggled for years, turning England into a contender in major tournaments. While he hasn't won a trophy yet, he has clearly transformed the future of English football. What do you think? Will Gareth Southgate finally lead England to a major trophy? Or is his true legacy something deeper? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more football insights.